Think about your direct reports for the moment. Are you satisfied with their performance? Do you find yourself doing their job for them? Are they not making the progress in their careers that you'd like them to make? If so, this tool can really be of some help, because ultimately their performance is a direct reflection of the quality of your leadership. And a great leader is someone who can help folks to overcome their natural tendencies to being overwhelmed, perhaps being a bit selfish, being fearful, not giving their best.
This is Eric Anderton, and you're listening to Construction Genius, a leadership masterclass. Thomas Edison said that genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. If you're a construction leader, you know all about the perspiration, and this show is all about the 1% inspiration that you can add to your hard work to help you to improve your leadership.
In my garage, I have an orange toolbox that an old friend, Stan, gave me. He passed away a number of years ago, and he was a great guy, a self-made, first-generation immigrant to the United States. He owned an apartment building in Berkeley, California, and he used to do the vast majority of the maintenance work himself. And he gave me the toolbox as a gift and as a bit of a hint, a hint to use the hammer, wrench, and screwdrivers that were in the toolbox to take care of the handyman stuff around my house. Just like Stan gave me that toolbox a number of years ago, today I'm going to give you a tool. I call it the 90-Day High Performance Dashboard. The purpose of the tool is to help you to maximize your direct reports productivity and make your leadership job easy. Now, every tool is designed to accomplish a particular task. And this 90-day dashboard is designed to help your direct reports think about what they need to do to achieve high performance, act accordingly, and then adjust as necessary. And if it's used correctly, it will enable you to hold your direct reports accountable for their performance and will also help you to strengthen your relationship with them. In the podcast today, I'm going to explain each part of the tool, and I'll also leave a link in the show notes so that you can click on that and go get yourself a copy of the tool. And there's three things that I'm going to cover in today's podcast. Number one, who is the tool for? Number two, how does it help? And then thirdly, what does it consist of, or what is it made up of? Let's dive right in by asking, who is this tool for? The 90-day high performance dashboard is specifically for your direct reports. Think about your direct reports for the moment. If you're a project executive, you have project managers reporting to you. If you lead an estimating group, you have estimators reporting to you. If you're a superintendent, you have foremen reporting to you. And if you're the chief executive or the president, you have all of those types of folks reporting to you. Are you satisfied with their performance at the moment? Do you find yourself doing their job for them? Are they not making the progress in their careers that you'd like them to make? If so, this tool can really be of some help, because ultimately their performance is a direct reflection of the quality of your leadership. And a great leader is someone who can help folks to overcome their natural tendencies to being overwhelmed, perhaps being a bit selfish, being fearful, not giving their best. There's so much stuff going on in people's lives that can hinder them from performing at a high level. We as leaders need to do everything that we can to help them focus on what's most important so they can achieve that high performance. You have a duty to help your direct reports perform at their very best. They're not cogs in the machine. They're human beings who impact your profitability today. And if you do a good job of developing them, they will ensure the future strength of your organization. So you should use this dashboard Whenever you hire someone new into your organization, whenever you promote someone, even if someone gets demoted or shifted to another position, and it can be a tool that you and your direct reports use together in every one-on-one that you have with them. And I cannot emphasize this enough. There's a lot of scuttlebutt going around the internet many times. You see this about how meetings are a waste of time. And I deeply disagree with that. The only meetings that are a waste of time are poorly run meetings. All of business is based on the strength of the relationships that you have with people. And that is particularly true in construction. And therefore, the meetings that you have with them are opportunities to build those relationships and to really influence the people that report to you in a positive manner. So it's essential that you have regular one-on-one meetings with your direct reports. And using this tool, you're going to be able to ask them, are we on the right track as far as your development and your performance is concerned? Are we making progress to achieve the initiatives that you've set out? And how do you need help? Those one-on-one meetings where you can use this dashboard as the basis of your conversation can help you with accountability and help them to keep on track in terms of their performance. And let's dive in a little more detail to the second thing. How does this dashboard help? Number one, it helps folks to gain clarity on what's most important to their success. And the problem is for a lot of folks is that they're fuzzy on what they need to achieve. They have a whole bunch of different things coming at them from different angles. They have a hard time prioritizing what's most important. They don't block out time to focus on those high priority items, and they really never get things done. And that lack of clarity discourages people and gives them the sense that at the end of the day, after all has been said and done, not much has actually got done. But the dashboard can help them to get clarity on what's most important. And with that clarity, a degree of focus comes in. Think about as you walk around your office, perhaps, and you see your direct reports, and they just don't seem to be directed in what they're doing. And because of that lack of clarity, there's that lack of focus. And the dashboard can help them to really drill down on what they need to be doing every single day, on the relationships they need to be cultivating, the development opportunities that can help them to grow, the initiatives that they need to execute. They can get focused on spending time on what's most important and rejecting that which is unimportant or trivial. Not only does it help them to get clarity and focus, with those two things in place, they can really begin to make progress. They can make progress in terms of their development. They can make progress in terms of executing what's most important for the profitability of your organization. And this dashboard will open up opportunities for accountability conversations. And if you're going to see your people develop most rapidly, one of the ways that you can do that as a leader is to consistently hold them accountable. Make accountability an integral part of your culture. And accountability does not have to be difficult if it's consistent. And as a leader, you always have to be asking people, did you do what you said you were going to do? You always have to ask them, what challenges are you facing that I can help you with? And those accountability conversations are an opportunity to deepen the relationships that you have with people in your organization and an opportunity to coach. And if you take this tool and use it consistently, it will make your life easier as a leader because it will keep you out of the weeds that you get stuck in many times when you end up doing other people's jobs for them because they don't have that focus and that clarity and that sense of urgency in terms of performing at a high level. It will help your projects to perform more profitably because you will be able to have the full breadth of your workforce engaged in those projects at a high level as opposed to at a low level. And it will allow you to get your head up for more strategic thinking in your organization as opposed to getting stuck in the weeds doing other people's jobs. And it might even help you to get home a little bit earlier to spend time with your kids and your spouse. And one of the things I love about this dashboard is it's a very simple tool. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out how to use. And it's designed it's designed for you to be able to consistently communicate across your organization how people should be showing up in terms of their role so that they can execute at a high level. And it also gives you a shared vocabulary across your organization and with your direct reports that can enable you to increase the impact of the conversations that you have with people. Now, why is it a 90-day dashboard? The thing I love about 90 days is you can get a ton done in 90 days. It's not too long of a plan so that you get kind of diffused and you don't have a sense of urgency. And it's not too short so that you get overwhelmed and just give up. 90 days is a good chunk of time to get some stuff done. And I'll give you an example of that. In October of last year, I had a conversation with Jeff Hoops, the CEO of Swinnerton. And I was interviewing him for a project that I was developing. And at the end of our interview, Jeff mentioned to me, "Hey, Eric, you should do a podcast on these subjects that you're exploring." And it's interesting because I'd been thinking about doing a podcast for quite a long time, and it just kind of gave me that nudge. And so I put together a very simple 90-day plan to get my podcast launched. Now, again, we had this conversation in October, and by the end of January, which was approximately 90 days, my podcast was up and running. And as a solopreneur, that wasn't necessarily an easy lift for me, but it was something that was doable. And as I concentrated on it, I was able to not only get the back end of the podcast built up, I was able to secure a number of interviews and then launch it strongly at the end of January. So my point in telling you this story is that a 90-day plan is an excellent window to get some really good stuff done. And that's why you should be able to use that with your direct reports on a consistent basis. It keeps them moving forward. It keeps them focused on incremental improvement. And it puts within them this idea of what I call patient impatience. So you have to be patient in terms of the progress that you're making, but you have to be impatient in the sense of always being on the front foot, always moving forward, always taking action today. What we've covered, who is the tool for? How does it help? Now, the last thing we want to talk about here is what does the tool consist of? It consists of a number of different areas, and I'm just going to go step by step through each one so that you understand each aspect of the dashboard, and then you'll be able to share it with other people in your organization. At the very top of the dashboard is the term, the rally cry. Now, what is a rally cry? A rally cry is a clear statement of what must be accomplished. It's a statement that consists of no more than a sentence at the most. It's a few words, and it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but it does have to be directionally correct, and it must be motivational. And let me give you an example. Recently, one of my clients challenged their PMs, project engineers, and superintendents to have a focus on business development by identifying 10 potential new sources of business just in their daily conversations. And so the rally cry for the PMs and the supers and the project engineers could be identify the top 10. Something that's nice and simple, nice and straightforward, and easily rememberable. And that is why a rally cry is so helpful, because we forget so quickly what we should be focusing on. And with the dashboard, what your people will be able to do is to write down very clearly what their 90-day rally cry is. It is the statement of what needs to be accomplished in order for them to say with any credibility, I had a good 90 days. So a great rally cry is simple, it's clear, and it gives directional focus for the person who writes it down. So this is how you craft a rally cry. You write out a sentence, and then you edit it and you try and get that rally cry down to no more than 4 to 5 words. And again, when you're thinking about building this plan, it's a 90-day plan because you want to be able to make that progress. And if you can't narrow it down to 90 days for your direct reports, perhaps what you're asking them to do is too much, or it's something where they need perhaps more support, or they don't have the skills to execute it. So make sure when you're working with them that what you're asking them to do in 90 days is actually doable. Okay. Now, after you've got the rally cry down, the next part of the dashboard are the initiatives. Now, the initiatives are concrete, objective things that they are going to do in order to achieve the rally cry. The great thing about a clear set of initiatives is it gives someone focus, discipline, confidence, and specific actions that you can begin to hold them accountable for. Now, how do you determine their initiatives? Well, once you've got a good rally cry, you take a look at their role and responsibility and you ask them, what do you need to do in order to achieve that rally cry? And when I'm putting together initiatives and working with my clients, coaching them through this dashboard, I like to think of the domino framework when it comes to initiatives. What must come first? What will that lead to? And what will that lead to? So if you can get a series of domino initiatives that will help to drive the rally cry, where the person understands what comes first, what comes next, and then what comes after that, it can be very helpful as far as the clarity of the dashboard. And the initiatives need to drive the achieving of the rally cry. So let me give you an example. One of my clients wanted to improve field productivity and tasked one of their direct reports with the rally cry of implement training. And the initiatives to achieve the rally cry were, number one, build the skill matrix. In other words, clearly write down what each person needs to achieve in order to be well trained. So build the skill matrix. The second initiative was pick the training. And the third initiative was schedule the training. Nothing super complicated, nothing unachievable, but directionally correct. And you notice the domino effect there, right? Build the skill matrix, then based on the skill matrix, pick the training. And then after you've picked the training, schedule the training. That's what this direct report came up with in terms of driving the rally cry of implement training. So once you've got the rally cry and the initiatives, the next step is to build the metrics. Now, the metrics are the objective indicators that you are executing on the initiatives, which are leading to the achieving of the rally cry. And let's talk about the types of metrics that you might have on this 90-day dashboard. Leading metrics, lagging metrics, coincident metrics, and then date-driven. So let me define each one of those. A leading indicator is that which is considered to point towards future events. A lagging indicator, those are seen as confirming a pattern that is in progress. And coincident indicators occur in real time and help you to clarify what you're doing right now. So let me give you an example of each one of those. Let's talk about a leading indicator. Let's say one of your direct reports has been tasked with the rally cry of improving safety. And one of the initiatives is having consistent safety meetings. And so the leading indicator is a simple yes or no. Have those safety meetings taken place? Because the assumption is if you have the safety meetings, then it will reduce the incidences and injuries that you're having on a project. Now, a lagging indicator when it comes to safety is something like your experience modification rate, or your EMR. And the EMR rate reflects your organization's injury claims over the past 3 years. Now, the great thing about a lagging indicator is it shows you in the past what's happened, but it can't really tell you what's happening right now in the present. So leading indicators are very important for pointing you towards the future. Lagging indicators show you what's wrong in the past. And the next metric is a coincident metric. Now, those occur in real time and help you to clarify what you're doing at this moment. So an example of a coincident metric when it comes to safety is the number of accidents and incidences that you're having on a weekly basis. Okay, so again, for safety, a leading indicator is the number of safety meetings that you're having on a regular basis. A lagging indicator is your XMOD or your experience modification rate. And a coincident indicator is the number of accidents and incidences that you're having on a daily or a weekly basis. And then finally, you do have that date-driven indicator or metric. An example of a date-driven metric is, I'm going to hold my first safety meeting by October 15th. So think about the metrics that are linked to the initiatives that drive the rally cry and make sure that your direct reports are clear on what those metrics are. And the reason why metrics are important is because it gives visibility to what's actually happening. And with that visibility, you'll be able to have those accountable conversations. The metrics will lead you in the direction of where you need to address issues that relate to the achieving of the rally cry. Okay, so we've talked about the rally cry, we've talked about the initiatives, we've talked about the metrics. Now let's cover relationships. Why are relationships important? All of construction is driven by relationships. Without strong relationships, you will not have a strong construction business. So relationships must be cultivated. They cannot be neglected. And relationships are key to achieving most initiatives in construction companies. And so when you're working with your direct report, ask them, whose help do you need to achieve the rally cry? And in order to achieve the rally cry, they might need a Yoda. They might need a mentor or a coach to point them in the right direction in terms of achieving what's most important. They might be the Butch Cassidy that needs their own Sundance Kid. Remember that old movie from back in the day, right? Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. They were a little crew that was involved in doing what they did. So if they're the Butch Cassidy, they may need a part in order to achieve that rally cry, and they might have to develop that relationship. Or they might need a golden ticket. Let's say the rally cry that you want your direct report to execute has to do with business development. And perhaps a relationship that they need to cultivate is with a decision maker in a project that you're going after. That relationship with that person is the golden ticket that they need in order to achieve the rally cry of winning that particular project. The point is you need them to think through, who do I need help from in order to execute my rally cry and to achieve that rally cry. And then the final part of the 90-day dashboard is the development opportunities. You want your people to always be developing and growing. You want to challenge people. You want your company to be a place where folks are excited because they're moving forward in their careers. They're gaining new technical skills, people skills. And so ask your direct reports, what development opportunities do you need in order to help you achieve that rally cry? And don't fall into the trap that many leaders unfortunately fall into, that if I develop them and they leave, then I've wasted all my development time and money. Don't fall into that trap. Be liberal in your development of your people. Do your very best to develop every single person in your organization. And the best folks, the ones who are fit with your culture, will stick around for the long term. Okay, now, so that dashboard, you've got the rally cry, you've got the initiatives, you've got the metrics, you've got the relationships, and you've got the development opportunities. Every 90 days, you should be going through this with your direct reports, keeping them focused, keeping them moving forward, keeping them contributing to your organization. I know that you're extremely busy at the moment, and you might be saying, Eric, not another tool, not another tip, not another trick. And I just want to encourage you, you need to be renewed in your mind as far as something like this dashboard is concerned. This dashboard is a tool. It's not a magic pill, but you have a responsibility to the people who report to you directly to maximize the impact that they have in your organization. And this tool is a perfect, simple way of you helping them to achieve that high performance. So back to the toolbox that Stan gave me many years ago. I have to confess, I am not a handyman. I really don't like working with tools. I don't like fixing things around my house. And most of the time, that toolbox lays dormant and unused. On the weekends, instead of, finding pleasure in fixing something around my house, I find way more pleasure in sitting down and reading a book. And that's the whole thing about this dashboard. It is a tool. It's only helpful if you use it. And so I want to encourage you. It's something that can be extremely helpful to you maximizing the performance of your direct reports and making your life as a leader easier. So here are the next steps that you can take. You can click on the link in the show notes, or you can go to my website, ericanderton.com/90day. That's the number 90, and then the word day. And there you can download the dashboard. Second step that you should take is to schedule a meeting with your direct reports. And again, if you don't have consistent one-on-one meetings with your direct reports, that's something that needs to happen. Explain the dashboard to them. You can have them listen to this podcast if you think that would be helpful. And then have them go away and fill it out. And this is very important. You want them to do the hard work first of thinking through, what is my rally cry? What are my initiatives? What do I need to do to achieve high performance? And then in your first one-on-one meeting with them after that, go through the dashboard step by step with them. Make sure they understand each aspect of it, and then make your contribution. Perhaps they're sort of going in the right direction, but they need some tweaks in terms of their rally cry or their initiatives. You'll find oftentimes they're unclear on the metrics that are driving their success, and your job as a leader is to make them crystal clear on how they're being measured and how they're being evaluated. After you've had that meeting, agree on the final version, and then you get a copy, they get a copy, and you use it as the foundation for all of your one-on-one conversations for the next 90 days. And this will help them to make progress. It will enable you to hold them accountable, and as a result of that, after 90 days, you'll be able to look back and really see the progress that you guys have made. And you want to be able to celebrate that progress too. And so that's another thing you can put in place as a next step, is at the end of 90 days, if they achieve that rally cry, if they've put their best foot forward and their best effort, make sure you celebrate them and recognize them appropriately. My name is Eric Anderton. I hope you've enjoyed listening to this episode of Construction Genius. If you have, I would really appreciate you going out to Google or to Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, and give us a rating, leave a review, share this with other people. Always feel free to give me feedback on what you think about the show and how I might be able to improve it, topics that you would be interested in me covering, even guests that you'd like to have on the show that I can interview for your benefit as a construction leader. So again, I really appreciate you listening today, and I hope you have a terrific week.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Construction Genius. Hope you found that 1% of inspiration to help you in the next few days. If you like the show, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes, share it with other construction leaders who you think would benefit, and always remember that the show is brought to you by Kick-Ass Meetings. I've been working with construction leaders since 2004, teaching them how to run extremely effective problem-solving meetings that gets their people collaborating, taps into their creativity. And to get yourself a free copy of the Kick-Ass Meeting Report, go to www.ericanderton.com/kickassmeetings. Grab yourself that free report, read it, use it in your business. You'll find it extremely useful. And thanks again for listening.